Hey guys, we'll be talking about Hillock Green. So as usual, disclaimer, whatever I share is just based on my point of view and research, so make sure you do own due diligence before you make any move. And then let's move on. This is Hillock Green. I think it kind of looks quite nice. I think out of the few that has been launched, Lentor Model, Lentor Hill, and then this one. So far this one seems nicer to me lah. Just based on my own point of view, okay, own preference. But I mean, when it comes to facade, I don't mean about any other things. I'm just based on this picture alone, facade alone. Maybe it's just their Photoshop, maybe it's just whatever. Anyway, all this doesn't matter. This is just some of the things that their concept. This looks a little bit like their past project. It's almost like a copy and paste. And then this one is this entrance kind of look quite nice. Well, it looks like some other project which I cannot remember suddenly. But it has a nice tree in the middle. So anyway, like I said, all this doesn't really matter. It's a matter of personal preferences, which doesn't matter that much in the resale market. Anyway, these are the fact sheet and then site plan. I think pretty much standard lah. The only thing I would say is maybe not so nice, or rather not so standard. I always prefer a standard swimming pool kind of shape, but this one is a little bit funny. But maybe it's more of like for kids to play around. But for people who kind of like I like a clock lapse, because it kind of gives you that feeling that you're doing something constructive, but not everyone sees it that way. So like I said, it doesn't matter. These are the typical fact sheet. Developers, and then 9 years. In case you guys, some people are still wondering, you'll be surprised. Quite a lot of people are still asking me, is this a freehold or 99? If it's a government land sale, there is no way they're selling a freehold land, no way at all. If not, then please let me know. I'll be the first to want to go and check it out. But unlikely. This is the site area, the size of it. Car park, surprisingly, there's a 1-to-1 ratio, and then there's only a 4 bedrooms in the area. Land cost is this. Number of units 474. There is quite some more of the focus on the Sec 2 and 3 bedrooms. Okay, so it's more of the mid-size units. Although there is quite some on the 4 premium side, but compared to the 2 other developments, which has quite a bit of focus on the bigger units, this one is slightly more towards the lower. Anyway, for those people who are looking, there is a discount. I'm not telling you to go ahead and go and book just because of a discount, and you'll be surprised that there are people rushing to rush for this, to make it for this kind of discounts. They need to forget about the bigger picture. If 22,000 is all it takes for you to jump in, then I really hope you're buying because you really love the place. But if you're buying because of investment, then I think there has to be a lot more factors to worry about, to be concerned about, to consider before you get absorbed into this just because of a promo. Because developers, we know by now, they like to launch all kinds of promos, and these are typical sales gimmick. I'm not saying this is a sales gimmick by Hillock Green. I'm talking about in general. They can easily push up the price a little bit higher, then throw you a little bit discount. This is prevalent in all kinds of sales in everywhere. Sales in all kinds of industry, all kinds of items, all kinds of products, blah blah blah. So it's important to see through what is actually happening. For me, it's a lot easier because I would say I'm pretty much of a realist. Some people call me a pessimist. I don't really care, but I see myself more of a realist. There is a difference, but like I say, I don't have to explain to everyone. But some people are a little bit too, or rather say, I would say most people are a little bit too superficial. They don't really see past what is actually happening, and this is what the executive developers take advantage, right? Based on this given guide price by them, you can see the content is quite digestible lah. So I would say a take-up rate for this should be quite high. And if you look at this, the average PSS should be about 2.1 something, which is pretty much similar to the previous 2 launches in this area, which I shall not talk about again. You guys can go and look through the videos, and we'll be focusing more on some those that I find a little bit more important. Estimated maintenance fee, this is quite I shall not talk too much, but please take note, all these are estimated maintenance fees. Then you see there is a special asterisk here. Fees are subjected to change. Okay, so don't take it as it is that these are the confirmed maintenance fees. These are estimated, you realize, because we have seen developments in recent years. When they sell, they say this amount, but when they come out, it's a totally different amount because they quote on inflation, whatever kind of thing. But it's important for you to not be to more or less feel, is this really an acceptable range? Of course, there are totally off the radar. But all these, like I said, are estimated. There are still also developments that go below those that are stated upon sale. But there are also it's hard to say lah. It's really hard to say. You cannot base on, like, example, this particular developer is known for keeping up with their promises, and hence next time they are not going to have this kind of cock up. I don't think it's that way. It's probably dependent on specific project basis. That's why I don't think it's fair to in a way condemn developers, because we have seen some developers that are very reputable and then end up shifting quite a lot from their advertised information at the point of sale. Okay, so I will say, just be prepared lah. Just prepared for things to happen and then react accordingly. No point for you to complain here and there and not actually trying to take actions. When things happen, then try to rectify it lah. These are some of the competitors in the area. We have 3 of them. They are freehold. And then the 2 of them, they are the newest in the area. Let's not talk about the whole lot of others. There are 99 in the area, and maybe even in the less than 1 km radius. Okay, later we'll talk a little bit more about that. But you can see the 2 of them, they are pretty much flat. And then whether they will really search another one next time, it really depends. I think is not as easy as most people would think for many other new developments, because the typical fallacies that you buy new launch, you must buy on first day, you must buy in there, as long as it's new launch, you'll make money. All this has been proven to be not true. And then if you watch my videos enough, you realize that these are very, very, very not true. There are a lot more things, a lot more macro factors that determine whether a new launch can actually make money. And on the other hand, because of these two, these other few had enjoyed quite a big ride as compared to the few prior, I would say, how many years is that? 7 years of flat movement, unfortunately. But because thanks to these 2 guys over here, these few guys are enjoying quite a nice bull run. Whether they will keep going up or not, we'll see. But this is quite some gap. And we've seen some development in recent years. Not gonna name it today. The gap was big, and then end up at TOP. I guess they do manage to make a profit, but net profit is not that high. Because the potential could have been better, but because of the initial pricing and because of the more of the macro factors, and that's why they didn't manage to fulfill up to their supposed potential that was being pitched by a lot of these salespeople at the show flat. That's why you need to be a lot more careful than that, than just to have this fallacy of I come in, or there's a how many 22 or 32% discount or whatever it is, and then therefore I'm getting it at a first mover price. And for your info, this is definitely not the first mover. This is already a third mover. And in the first place, the so-called first mover in this place is not even a first mover, because there are already a whole bunch of other supply, huge amount of supply in that area already. That's why you have to be very careful or very subjective on what's your definition of a first mover. This is the upcoming launches in the area. 2 of them has already been launched. This one is currently being launched, and this one is just closed. This one is already closed earlier, subjected to the first. This one is the first one to get subjected to the GFA harmonization thing, which I've talked about in my previous video. So go and check it out if you are not very certain about that. But if we look at these, so far we already know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plots. But apparently, according to this, you can see that there is 8 and 9 and even 10. That means this area is totally way oversupplied. And at this point, I remember when this was sold, this was quite a shocker in terms of the price tag for the land, and then especially a break even, and then that's what, the time it was being advertised as the first mover, and then therefore all the other plots will be more and more expensive. Please go and look at my first video on Lentor model and know that what I've said 1 year before, or actually more than 1 year before, is actually coming true. And how did this happen? Is because I have a crystal ball? Of course not. So if you really sit down and really analyze, you can really see what's happening lah. Come on, a lot of people don't bother. That's why I don't understand. A lot of people like to spend a lot of time at work, but you happily sink your money into something you think is an ideological buy, but actually it's definitely an emotional buy. And the salespeople love it because they know that you are being bombarded by emotions, and they can take advantage of you on that at the show flat. And until now, I'm still very appalled and very surprised at how people can be overwhelmed by the emotional factors in a show flat. Maybe for me it's because I've seen too many show flat, but I really don't think so, because the first few times I see a show flat, I'm like, okay, this is nice. Wow, of course, which show flat is not nice? But show flats are meant to be nice. If not, the interior designer has to be fired, right? So, well, but a lot of people just don't see it that way, unfortunately. Therefore, if you really sit down and think about it, if you spend so much time at work, I would say just take a few days off and then focus on the bigger things. Because if you make a wrong purchase, you are sacrificing tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, which can easily be, for not all, but most of the middle income people, like a year or 2 years or even 3 years worth of income. So why wouldn't you take just a few days off to really think about your property, the fundamentals, kind of learn more about property if you need to, talk to the relevant qualified professionals to go and learn more about, rather than just based on this or hearsay here and there. I always like my clients to be more educated rather than listening to me blindly. Other than the particular few that totally, first time they meet me, they totally trust me, which I'm grateful for, but thankfully I don't abuse their trust. But I prefer them to really go and read up. But some of them are really just too busy. They can't really be bothered. So, I mean, thankfully for them, they trust the right person. But not everyone is like this. There are still quite a lot of people who trust the wrong person and end up, only realizing it a few years later. But that's just a fact. That's just a harsh reality of life, right? Anyway, back to this. This is the 10 plots. In contrary to the 7 plots, we have no idea when this tree gonna come out, but it will eventually be coming out. And if you look at the price, this was the break even at that point for Lentor Modern, and then here and there it was promised that, in a way promised that land is gonna be more and more expensive. But we look at what happened: 2009, 2008, then end up 2006, blah blah blah. So is this really what you were being pitched to at that point? Further down one MRT road, this is Lentor MRT, this is Springleaf. Okay, I remember this is a very ulu place because last time I was in Nee Camp during my, is it NS days? Yeah, I think NS days. I was there for a few months, and I remember what kind of place is that, man. But now it's going to be developing, and this is quite a mega. This is almost like a mega development. 900 plus expected units residential for this that is right beside MRT. Despite a lot of people only think about your immediate competitors, but you also forget to realize that, are people really going to bother about taking one more stop down the MRT? Right? So could this actually be interchangeable supply for the resale buyers? Okay, something for you to think about. Then for this, right, you can see over here we only have Lentor Modern, Lentor Hills residences, and we really have 5,000 plus. Let's not even talk about the total I added for you over here. The whole chunk of so far currently 7 plots, I expected to be around 3,000 plus. Then we got another 1,500 plus over here at Springleaf. That means a total supply of 5,000 plus new supply, new supply in the facility. We are not even talking about like existing supply. We are talking about supply that is still haven't even been built yet. And if you add on to the current supply, which is like 9,000 plus, because this is of course inclusive of these two, right? Then what will be the potential consequences in this area? Okay, will these people be end up coming in as a new guinea pig? I don't know. I don't want to be. In this case, wouldn't want to be a guinea pig in this area. But it seems that a lot of people are very willingly jumping in to be the guinea pig. But feel free to go in. Somebody has to go in, right? I just have to make sure that I'm not the one going in, and then we'll see. I prefer to be the guy that is observing and finding out the truth, rather than to be the ones in a guinea pig. So in case for those people who are the Chinese people understand, Lentor. So if you're very Lentor in your analysis, you probably you didn't bother to sit down and spend time on researching. Then Lentor is the place for you lah. Okay. Anyway, that's pretty much on my Hillock site analysis. I'm not gonna talk much because previously, come on lah, I talked like Lentor Hills and Lentor Modern, like how many times you guys want me to talk, right? I'm not going to talk that much. Like, it's about the same thing. It's just a matter of risk management and then the specific price point they are planning to launch at, the kind of layout. How different can a layout be? Unless it's like really, really, really crappy, but no matter what, somebody is going to buy eventually, right? Then, well, a lot of people are thinking, that this is supposedly a bear market, and well, things are not doing well, blah blah blah. Then on the other hand, this one just came out yesterday. Today is yesterday, and there will be an increase in one of these development effective of 12 a.m. So why are there developments that are having a price increment when everything else is like a little bit? Everyone thinks, not everything else. A lot of people think that the economy, is coming down, things are not looking good, interest rates are so high, people shouldn't be buying, but why are people still buying? If people are not buying, then why would there be an increase in selling price, right? Could this be an effect of your upcoming Jaden and the Hillock Green? And because of that upcoming price, we all kind of know the price point lah. The other developers are kind of thanking these two guys. Because of these two guys' price expectations, we can have the leeway to increase the price. So that is how it works, right? If somebody today, a lot of you, your resale cars or even resale property, you can go out, it's because the new ones are selling a lot more expensive. Then same goes for these guys that already launched, and then they will be expecting an increment in selling price. And unfortunately, those people who you throw in the chair, you buy into the hype, you throw in the chair, and then you realize you don't get such a good number. By the time you decide to go out to the other developments, and then you kind of make up your mind finally, because you're taking your own sweet time to make up your mind, right? You realize that the prices have already moved. Either that or the unit has already been taken. Would that eventually make you happy? And after all, you were trying to go for that first mover advantage, then end up you're having not that big of an advantage. You see there's quite a lot of, in a way, it's kind of endless to talk about all these kind of things. There's so many factors, so many things that is happening, but people always think that I was wait, if don't have this, if I don't get a good number, then I slowly look around, and then by the time they slowly look around, before you even start the slowly look around, you realize there have been whatever they have been looking at as alternative, their option B and C would have been taken up, or price has really gone up, and then they realize they're stuck in a corner, and then they start sitting on the fence again. These cycles repeats again and again and again, because we've seen it so many times that it's becoming very, very predictable. And if you observe it long enough, these are the kind of things that developers like to do. Okay, these are some of the market updates in recent days, or past few days. I don't know about past 3-4 days. And then this is something that is interesting. HDB deficit for last year widens to a record 5.4 billion. I think our Sports Hub only took 1 billion at that point to build, right? Now it's 5+ billion for HDB deficit. Well, let's not mention about the Aljunied thing. Okay, but yeah, this is a shortfall on the public program. If there is a deficit, where is this money gonna come from? Okay, I think the gist of this article is that we need to know where is this money coming from and how is it gonna be topped up back to our reserves. Obviously, somebody spent this money, somebody had to make that money, right? I'm not gonna be answering this question, but it's just a food for thought. The other thing we need to also note is that HDB says is remain on track to launch up to this amount and a total of 10,000 flats from this amount from this timing to this timing. Next time when it's done, all these flats end up being or MOP will all these flats are driving up the flat supply. What will happen to the demand? What demand is pretty much the same. Okay, what will happen to the resultant price when you have too much basic supply and demand factor? When you have too much supply, what's going to happen to the price? And that is the reason why the government is doing this. The government's job is not to help you make money. Let's be clear. The government's job is to make sure everyone has a roof. Whether you make money or not, that's not their problem, because their priority is to make sure nobody sleeps on the street. And that is the reason why we are voting them, right? If they are voting just to protect those people that are making profits, then unfortunately they won't be in power for long, and that is not what they are looking for. Their priority, that's why HDB is always called public housing. Let's just always make it clear. If you are looking for profits, then you shouldn't be even looking at HDB. The $1 million HDB, all these because they got in at the right price, they are lucky, they get in at the right project, blah blah blah. But it's not the government's responsibility to make sure that the person who got your 1.4 million can exit at $2 million. They can't be bothered. If you dare to spend that kind of money, then it is your problem to somehow squander it. Okay, this is the more interesting one. Just read the headline on your own. Broad middle is the 21st to 80th income percentile. And beyond being in this line, you see clients of differing income levels, but a lot of people choose to complain, choose to be in denial. How can my salary keep up? But those people who choose to upskill, who choose to change the jobs that are more suitable towards their capability, they find something that is more suitable. They look out for opportunities and then take action on those. Basically, it applies to everything in life, right? Your job, your property, your financial investment, all these kind of things. You have to go towards where it's beneficial for you. But some people are just very comfortable. They stay in their comfort zone. They refuse to try things that are new. They are new and uncertain, and you can't be expected to get rewarded for their comfort zone. Whereas people who step out of their comfort zone, go and learn things, go and take advantage of opportunities out there, right? They are the ones who reap the greatest fruits. And these are the guys who have moved on to more productive and larger firms. Okay, larger firms to seeing their income more than double over the past 10 years. I have a client that has more than doubled over the past 1.5 years. Not just one, but two or three of them. And this is actually happening. Of course, these guys are not going to be the one that is complaining. But those that are complaining tend to be the ones that are in the comfort zone. And these are the people who can actually afford. Before those people, there's a reason why the property market is still running. It's because there are people who are able to support the market, and there are people who can afford whichever property it is. And we need to, before people start complaining, you need to know what's really happening on the ground. Talk to people around you. But unfortunately, because of if you are just having coffee shop chit chat, there's no way somebody is gonna come out and say that my salary just jumped by how much, I'm happy for our clients that they are doing well in their career. Of course, I also understand not everyone has that kind of luxury, but before we start complaining we need to really look at what is happening in our society. Okay, growth set to improve in the second half of 2024 because of by then interest rate should drop already. So this is just something to build on the strength of our economy, and also a largely stable market for 2024. I'm not going to talk so much about these articles, and I'm going to need to go off soon for an event. But But yeah, this is kind of a reflection of other people's in confidence in our local market, especially this guy. This Shandon house at 500 plus million is sold to a CEO. Yeah, pardon me if I read when I read this article, I got kind of a little bit of a shock. The buyer is a company owned by this guy, and so he went for the bid in his personal capacity rather than the listed company. That means he bought it on his own. This guy is, oh my, truck look rich, man. But it's not that he's buying it for like like buy a Rolex or buy or something, or flashy car or whatever. He's buying it because he has confidence, So this purchase demonstrates my continued confidence in the blah 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 in the prime office sector and residential rental market. It shows that he has so much confidence. And on the other hand, we have Singaporeans that are sure or not the market is gonna crash here and there. Whereas these guys, from Malaysia side, our fellow neighbors have more confidence in our market than our locals. Unfortunately, and that's quite a sad case when these guys are buying with all sorts of taxes, and Singaporeans don't get tax, and then they are still complaining. That's the sad thing about our culture. We tend to be quite sheltered, we tend to be quite pampered, but a lot of us just end up like complaining. It's just our culture, unfortunately. So the thing is that it seems that a lot of people are coming to our country with the money, and if we don't recognize the situation and we take advantage and action on it, then who is going to be the one that is going to lose out and then look back 10 to 20 years down the road to realize that really missed out so much. I'm already this and that. Am I still going to catch a train? If not, then last time I should have this, last time I should have that. I think there is an issue when we notice that there are so many people trying to come to Singapore, trying to put money in Singapore, but we don't even trust our own system. Then is there something that you do not know about the market, and should you educate yourself on it then, and then from then on decide whether you should actually take action and not end up regretting? Ultimately, there's no right, no wrong. Nobody's telling you to do anything, nobody's forcing you to do anything. But if you do have plans, then you should take the appropriate action instead of just having the typical basic assumptions and then assuming that things are not are what you think it is, rather than trying to find out the actual truth. Okay, so that will be all we have for today. I gotta go. Thanks for listening, and make sure you like, share, subscribe. And if you need any help, just make sure you text me and I'll see how I can help. See you guys. Bye bye.